Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Celestina. Thank you for coming by, and if you're old here, thank you for staying with me. Today we have a guest, and then I would like him to introduce himself.
Hi, my name is 62 Scooter, and that's me. Excited to be here.
Is that all?
Yeah, that's it.
That's all?
Yeah, that's me.
Oh, okay. So today we have something interesting to talk about. We are going to talk about our own individual opinions about a certain topic. So today we are going to talk about how to find yourself and some ways you can actually find your true identity and your purpose in life. So, sisters, how do you find yourself?
Well, there are various ways in finding yourself. I think the question is, how do you find your real self? Because, we all have some sort of lives that we are living. Everyone is living in a particular way or another. But it's much more about, what you're living. Is it yourself? Is it a reflection of who you want to be? Or it's just something you're doing just to sort of like make yourself okay, to be okay with it. For me personally, it was more about understanding what my purpose was for life, because it's very necessary. If you don't know, it's very necessary to know what your purpose is for life, because once you really know why you were brought on this earth, what you're supposed to do, and what you're expected to do, you much less just act it out, just do it, and you have this fullness and you get excitement in you to just live it out, in the other way you find yourself probably just trying to live in a way that you're not satisfied, you're not happy with, you're just trying to make yourself happy or make some people happy, or trying to just let people around you feel confident in some of the decisions that you make, I would say really finding yourself is very, very important, and it's been a great blessing to me that I was able to really find and know and understand myself at a very young age.
Okay, this brings us to something I would like to talk about. That is to say that I know a lot of people are in the universities or colleges, but they don't actually know what they want to be in the future, and they find themselves in the schools reading programs that their parents ask them to go and read, not necessarily what they want to read or what they think they are passionate to do or something like that. So in this case, let's say that you are in this in a situation like this, do you just go by with what your parents is asking you to read? Well, you are someone who likes to be a journalism in the future, but your parents wants you to be a lawyer. So you are in the school right now reading law, and you find out that after the law you have to go back and do what you really think you want. So in this case, do you think the student should continue, or the student to just divert and go to what he or she is personally doing or something like that?
Great question. So what's important here again is just really understanding what you're about, because before you get into the university, it is perceived that you know much more about who you are. You know much more about who you want to be, and you know much more about who you want to become. So these are the questions that you start to ask yourself before you even get to the university. So you're asking yourself, okay, what do I want to be? Who am I? What do I have to become who I want to be? You need these answers. You need to know all these information to help you moving forward. And that's why we have people that find themselves in situations that probably you're reading a program that you're not in, or you're trying to divert. Once you find yourself in that, what I'm gonna say is that, which is an opinion of mine, is you can. It's not too late to still find yourself, so you can still try to find yourself. What's your purpose? Why were you created? Why were you brought to this earth? Why do you live at where you live at? Why are you at this place that you're at? Why do you have the sort of environment with you? Why do you have, the sort of family that you have, the sort of people that you have? Once you find the very relevant information with regards to these things, it gives you, or it places you in a good position to actually get to make decisions like, okay, this is the program I want to make, this is what I want to do, and all of that. But if you haven't found the answers to these, it's going to be difficult to try to divert, because you might be diverted just because of a temporal situation. Sometimes we divert because we face a class that wasn't really, good for us, and we're like, oh, I want to, I want to change, I want to, but that was just temporal.
For real, some people find themselves, like some students really find themselves in that situation. You be like, this is journalism I want to be. You are in a field, or you're reading the program you really want to, want to. But like you are facing some classes that you just felt like, let me just leave it and go and do something that is too easy. But then don't forget that there is nowhere cool. Sorry, but every class or like every program is hot. They have a particular subject that is really, really hot. You have to face it. And when you are able to face that, I think you're always good to go. But that is very true then. That really is true then.
Yeah, that's so like we have those circumstances where now people are like trying to find out, okay, like what do I do and all of that. But what's interesting is that it's just temporal. It's temporal to the sense that probably if you're able to get over that class, other classes are going to be better.
Exactly.
But if you're going to like weigh your whole entire life based on just that decision, you're going to be making the wrong decision. You're going to try to like divert, you're going to try to like pick a different route, and it wouldn't work out for you. So what you want to do is try to ensure that you're making the right decision at the right time. Not because of something temporal, but because of something you're just sort of like experiencing right now. And like I said, the answers to those particular questions that I mentioned will actually pave way for you to sort of like know what you want to become, know what you want to do, and all of that. And once those answers have been provided, once you set yourself on that road, there is no turning back, because you've answered the most relevant questions of your life. And once you have that, it's sort of like it becomes an energy fueling you to move forward. It gives you that motivation to keep going, and you just keep going regardless of whatever you're going to face. And so you're going to face those tough classes and all of that. But something I've been saying all the time is our educational system is more or less like it's limited in a way where it cannot provide for everyone. Because what happens is that everyone with this sort of educational system that we have, it wants everyone to fit in. And so we take a program like you mentioned, like journalism. You have certain classes. Maybe you're going to take classes in math. Maybe you're going to take classes in social sciences and all of that. But what is much more relevant? For all you know, somebody might be so good in reporting information, in writing information, and writing pieces of papers and all of that with regard to a subject matter, but he or she is not probably good in math, but our educational system sort of like places you to be good in all these sites, in all these places for you to come out to be who you are, and that's a limitation, because now if somebody isn't good in maths and he's good in let's say something like the social sciences, and let's say he continues to fail in maths, our educational system sort of like pushes these people backwards. These people are not able to progress even in the fields that they want to do. And so these are some of the limitations that we sometimes talk about with like our educational system. And I always push for people to like go beyond, the systems of education that we have. You need to look beyond that. You need to continue to pursue what you want to pursue regardless of the systems that have been put in place. Because sometimes the systems do not really help us, even though, it is claimed that these systems are there to help us. Sometimes the systems actually limit us. These systems actually sort of like just put us backwards. And I'm really glad that we're having this conversation, because it's really highlighting some of the major things people go through, and then we don't know. We've been trying to like find solutions and answers to these things,
Yeah, so this brought us to something we want to be talking about also. So before someone chooses the career, or before you goes into the university or any college of your choice, first you need to identify your purpose in life and what you are actually like passionate to do, like talented to do, then you make your career out of that. That is the number one. So we'll be talking about something else that is going to be our number two. Do you also consider the money side before choosing any career or any course to read in the university, or you just choose it because that is what you want to do, or that is what I'm gonna find joy in it, or something like that?
So I know a lot of people really like to cut down. They really like to sort of like look into the situation and say, okay, maybe because of money, I cannot do this, I cannot do that. Personally, I'm a person that I do not like to look at limitations. So regardless whether there's money involved with it, I always say go for it, because you never know. And you need to be optimistic, you need to make up your mind that this is what I want to do, regardless of the limitations that it presents. So yeah, I know like some people like, oh, they want to, go do medicine, they want to go do all these expensive stuff. But I would say that there's always a way, you know. The problem is we're always thinking in one way, because someone is just like, hey, I want to do medicine, and okay, it costs about $10,000 to go do this whole program. But all what he's thinking about is how are my parents gonna fund this? Whilst there are other ways to find money to actually get you going with this program. So it's more about looking at, different ways of pursuing your program. And like I said, once you identify who you want to be, what you need to do is try to know what you need to become who you are or who you want to be. So that's part of the process. That's part of like identifying and knowing and going with all that information. So you don't just get up and say, okay, I know I want to be a doctor and that's it. You want to know, what do I need to become a doctor? How can I get it? So you break it down into little pieces, and when you have all this information, there's no impossibility at this point, because now you structured yourself, you understand what you're moving for, and once you go for it, you're going for it. There's no turning back, and once you go for it, you always get it. So it's much more about, I don't see limitation with like money and all of that. I always say never look at that. What I'll say is look at what you require. Don't just look at one way only. Don't just say, okay, well, I don't have family, I don't have people that are going to support me. Well, sometimes you don't have to look at your family. You don't have to look at the people closer to you. Sometimes you need to look beyond. You need to even look at scholarships beyond that. Even sometimes you get to even find out when you enroll in the program and you get sacked, and then someone else comes in and say, oh, I heard of your story, I want to let you, continue your education. Sometimes it's like that. But imagine if you never went in because you felt, I don't have money. Nobody hear of your story. So it's much more about just go, do it. And once you set in that this is who I want to become, this is who I'm supposed to be, everything is given for you to become who you are. All what is required, you've looked at it and you know that I have it. So you just go in for it.
Oh, this is what I'm also going to add to, or bring a question into that. Yeah. So you literally don't have to look at your current situation to judge whether I can do this or not. Basically, they always say that like, oh, you don't know that you can do this unless you do it. So you don't know that you have the capability unless you do it. So just do it. Go for whatever that you want to do, what program that you want to do, regardless of the money that you think is involved and the scary amount that it sounds, and just go for it. Someone might find you somewhere and would like to invest in you. That's how it starts. So if you don't start, how will someone find you to invest in you? So that is it. And then this is another question. I think that's also related to that. Do I just look like, I want to go for this program, and then I'll be like, okay, I want to do journalism, but journalism doesn't pay that much. In their career field, journalism doesn't pay, but being a doctor in the future, I'll get a lot of money. So do I have to consider that? Because basically, I think the reason we are going to school or we are attending school is money. To me, some think it's not money, but that is not the only reason. But money is also part of the reason why we attend school. We attend school to make like an impact in the society, right? And the money too is there. So do I consider the amount or the salary ranges before I choose a career or a program to read in the university?
So that's a very good question because a lot of us get into the sort of position where we're thinking about should I look into the amount of money that is concerned with this program that I'm getting into with regards to the job that I might get after. But like I always say, don't think one way. Don't force yourself to just think in a particular way that this is the only way I can make money, which is wrong. That's not the only way you can make money. So one thing I'll always advise is that when you're getting into a program and you're like, oh, I can get a job, and then when I get a job and this job is going to give me this amount of money, you have boxed yourself in a little box like that. You've just like placed yourself in a box. You've given yourself limitations. But how about think much more about what you can use what you're learning to do much more, or to even get a job that can place you in a place that you can do much more than what you're thinking. So it's more about exploring your ideas, exploring much more of what you can do than just accepting what society is saying. Oh, you just be a doctor, and when you're a doctor you get paid like this. Well, you can be a doctor and an engineer. Well, you can be a journalist, but yet you'll be providing something else. You'll be doing something. There's several ways. You just need to explore all these ideas in your mind rather than just trying to fit in. And all the time we all like we need to fit in and fit in. Now is the time people are not trying to fit in. You look at what's happening, revolution everywhere in every industry, and it's very critical that people are much more open to like doing more than just like fitting in. So yeah, if you before you get into school and you're trying to choose your program, don't choose your program like you said based on your situation, your current situation. And in that saying, don't also choose a program based on what you're paying people in that place right now, because it means you're just going to limit yourself based on that. What you want to do is ensure that your mind is open to think beyond the limitation. And so once you're able to think beyond limitations, it gives opportunity for you to do more than what people are doing. You want to be a difference, and for you to be a difference, you need to do much more or something different from what the ordinary person does. And which is very important. So it's important that you are able to streamline yourself to think beyond what is already existing. So if they pay, let's say, journalists 50K, in a year, and you feel like that's not enough, paid all this money and going forth is not going to be enough for you, you can still pursue that same you can still pursue the same program, you can still pursue the same job, but you could be the change in that industry. You could be the first person to say, hey, I can bring so much into the table that I want to negotiate for 60K in a year. You could be the first person to be paid 60K. So you don't have to limit yourself based on what they say it is the ordinary, or this is how it's supposed to be. What if it could be the other way? You can be that change. You can be that new person to think about it. And once you can think about it, it's gonna happen. So just live out what you're supposed to be. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that is to say that regardless of the amount involved in each career that you are going to take, make sure you go for it, not necessarily the current amount you are taking. Probably it's going to increase, or by the time you finish school, it's going to increase. How will you know? So don't look down upon the amount that your career path might offer you in the future. Look beyond that. All right, so this also brings us to a very big question I want to ask Sixtus. So, Sixtus, are you ready for a question?
What's the question?
Who are you?
Me. I introduced myself earlier, so everybody knows.
This is a question. That is not the introduction that I wanted you. Okay. It's a question. If someone should ask you, who are you? So that kind of question. That's the question I'm asking you now. Who are you?
Interesting. Because it's interesting because I have various ways to answer this question. The first one was what I answered earlier. I'm talking about telling who I was by my name. Who am I? Well, I'm a nice person. I know
Yeah,
that.
nice person.
I
That's
know
only
that.
discussion.
Yeah. That's who I am. I'm a nice person. Very nice.
He's a nice person.
Yeah,
That's why he has to say.
entirely.
All right. I think we've spoken a lot, and then I hope when you come across this video, it's gonna help your life. And thank you, sisters, for coming around. I really appreciate. You will be seeing more of sisters in this camera soon and soon. So this brought us to the end of the video, but I have a little game for sisters. I think I saw this one somewhere. I don't know whether TikTok or Instagram. Let's see whether sisters is going to pass this game or not. So sisters, you're going to say after me. Say whatever I'm going to say.
Okay.
Okay? I'm hungry.
She's hungry.
Say after
I
me.
just
Say
said after
whatever that I say. Just say whatever I say.
Okay.
Don't change anything. I'm hungry.
I am hungry.
Okay. I'll eat rice.
I will eat rice.
Goat.
What?
Goat.
Goat.
Stew.
Stew.
What color am I wearing?
What's color am I wearing?
Sisters passes. Well, you don't understand it. So I saw this game that like people are doing to their friends. They'll be like, say whatever I'm going to say or say after me. Then they will mention like those styles. Then they'll come back and ask the person, what color am I wearing? They always mistake it to answer the color they are wearing instead of like saying
that's
after
what you
it.
said. So, like,
Yeah, so sisters pass the game for today. Alright, thank you so much for watching. Do you have something to say?
Oh no, I'm good.
Alright, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And you will see more of us, more of not the unnecessary one then. Yeah, the necessary things come. Yeah. Alright, bye bye. Thank you. Say bye bye. Say bye bye to my people. Say.
I said bye. I said bye.
Say bye. Don't be like a nigga. Don't do this. Do this. I'm done.